Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome to a new deep dive.
Mm-hmm.
We are jumping straight into, well, a really fascinating legal battle that's shaping up right now. It's sitting squarely at the intersection of, all the content we create online and the huge demands of AI training.
Yeah, it's like a fight over digital real estate, maybe. But the real
Wow.
estate is actually human conversation.
Exactly. And the key players in this specific fight.
Well, on one side, you've got the social media platform Reddit. I mean, that's nearly 20 years of discussions, right?
Yeah.
A huge trove.
Huge.
And on the other, the AI company Anthropic. They developed the conversational AI assistant Claude.
Right. Our source for this dive is a really sharp piece from Business Today. It just came out yesterday, actually, June 5th, 2025, and it lays out Reddit's lawsuit against Anthropic.
So our mission today is to cut through the noise a bit, get to the core of it.
Hmm.
We need to understand Reddit's main claims, figure out why they think their content is worth, well, potentially billions.
Billions, yeah.
See how this stacks up against other AI legal fights we've been seeing. And, ultimately, what does this case tell us about the future? About how AI learns and what happens to all the stuff we put online.
Okay, so let's get right to the heart of Reddit's complaint then. What's the main accusation they're actually leveling against Anthropic in this lawsuit?
So the central charge is that Anthropic has been unlawfully accessing Reddit's platform.
Okay.
And basically scraping, or you could say harvesting, its user-generated content, all without permission.
And the source gave a pretty striking number for this alleged activity, didn't it? It wasn't just like a few visits.
Oh, not at all. According to the lawsuit, this was filed in San Francisco Superior Court, Reddit claims Anthropic accessed their platform more than 100,000 times
Wow.
just since July 2024. And Reddit alleges this happened even after they'd apparently gotten assurances from Anthropic that their automated systems, their bots, were blocked.
Over 100,000 times just since last summer. That's the detail from the source that really jumps out, showing the scale. And Reddit seems to be painting a picture here of Anthropic knowing they shouldn't be doing this, but, well, doing it anyway.
Right.
Which kind of brings us to some of the language Reddit uses in the filing. They talk about Anthropic having two faces. What's that about?
Yeah, this is where the filing gets particularly pointed. They describe Anthropic as having this public face, right?
Mhm.
The one that tries to seem ethical, respecting rules and boundaries. The filing uses this phrase, something like the public face that attempts to ingratiate itself with claims of righteousness.
But then there's the other side, the alleged hidden side.
Precisely. Reddit argues there's also this private face that ignores any rules that interfere with its attempts to further line its pockets.
Ouch.
Yeah. It's how Reddit is framing the whole lawsuit, basically suggesting a deliberate clash between Anthropic's stated values and what they allegedly did to get the data.
And a huge part of Reddit's argument seems to hang on how valuable they think their content is, particularly for training AI. It's not just, you took our stuff. It's like, you took something incredibly valuable.
Absolutely. This is a key bit from the source article. Reddit's chief legal officer, Ben Lee, made a statement saying that this unauthorized use of Reddit's content, it could be worth billions of dollars in commercial value.
Billions.
That figure, billions, that's essentially the price tag Reddit is putting on the commercial potential of their data for AI companies.
Billions of dollars. Wow, that really underlined how seriously Reddit is taking this. So why? Why does Reddit think its content is so uniquely valuable for training models like Claude? What makes it stand out?
Well, they lay this out pretty clearly, both in the lawsuit and in that statement from Ben Lee. They argue that, quote, Reddit's humanity is uniquely valuable in a world flattened by AI.
Reddit's humanity.
Yeah.
Interesting phrasing.
Yeah, and they point to the platform hosting, nearly 20 years of rich human discussion on virtually every topic imaginable.
Right, the sheer breadth and depth.
Exactly. And the critical point from their perspective is that these authentic conversations, they just don't happen anywhere else. And they're central to training language models like Claude.
Okay,
It's
wow.
the depth, the diversity, the messiness, the realness of human discussion that they see as this irreplaceable fuel for advanced AI.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. It's not just like clean text data. It's messy, nuanced, real human interaction with all its context.
Yeah.
Okay, so we get Reddit's side, their allegations. Let's talk about Anthropic briefly. Who are they, and is this the first time they've run into this kind of legal trouble?
So Anthropic is a pretty prominent AI startup. They've attracted a lot of investment, including quite a bit from Amazon.
Okay.
And yes, they're the creators of Claude, which is definitely a direct competitor in that conversational AI space to models like, say, OpenAI's ChatGPT.
And the legal challenges. Has this sort of thing happened before?
Yeah, and this is a really crucial piece of context the Business Today article brings up. Anthropic has faced similar legal issues before, specifically about their training data.
Ah,
Back in August 2023, a group of writers sued them. They claimed Anthropic's AI models were trained on copyrighted books without permission.
okay, writers.
And then just a couple of months later, October 2023, Universal Music also filed a lawsuit. They accused Anthropic of using protected song lyrics in their training data, again, without authorization.
So writers and music publishers.
hmm
This isn't an isolated incident for Anthropic then. They've been in legal disputes over training data before?
That seems right. This Reddit lawsuit looks like it fits into a pattern that other copyright holders and content creators have already flagged.
Gotcha.
The article did note, though, that Anthropic hadn't made any public comment on the Reddit lawsuit at the time it was written.
Right, okay. So this specific Reddit Anthropic case, it really feels like one battle in a much bigger conflict, maybe even a war, over AI training data. How does this fit into that broader legal landscape we're seeing?
Oh, absolutely. This lawsuit is definitely part of a rapidly growing trend. We're seeing all sorts of content creators, media companies, book authors, artists, and now platforms like Reddit filing lawsuits against the big AI labs. Companies like OpenAI, Meta, Cohere, and Anthropic, it's all about the use of their content to train these large language models.
It seems like everyone's wrestling with the same basic question, right? If my content, my work, is used to train a system that becomes worth billions, shouldn't I have some say
Yeah,
and maybe get a piece of that value?
exactly.
And it's important to point out, Reddit isn't arguing that their data shouldn't be used for AI training at all. They've actually taken steps to monetize it themselves.
That's a really critical detail the article highlights. Back in February 2024, just a few months before filing the suit against Anthropic, Reddit actually signed a pretty significant deal with Google.
Oh, right. I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, that agreement is reportedly worth around $60 million a year. And it specifically grants Google access to Reddit's content precisely for AI training purposes.
So they're basically establishing, look, our data is valuable. We know it's valuable. AI companies, we have a commercial plan for licensing it. And you, Anthropic, you're bypassing that whole system and just taking it without permission.
That's precisely the argument.
Yeah.
They are actively trying to control and, profit from what they see as a highly valuable asset in this AI era. And they're challenging what they perceive as unauthorized access and use of that asset.
Okay, so we've looked at the allegations, Reddit's view on its content's value, Anthropic's history with these kinds of suits, and the wider context. Now, let's maybe connect this back to you, the listener. Why should you care about this specific case between Reddit and Anthropic? It might seem like just a corporate dispute.
Well, yeah, it might seem that way, but cases like this one and the others we mentioned, they're fundamentally shaping the rules for how AI models learn and what kind of data they can actually access. The internet was kind of built on this idea of open access to information, right? But training these incredibly powerful AI systems, it means consuming enormous data sets. And companies are trying to figure out how to do that legally and ethically, or maybe just efficiently.
And these legal challenges are essentially trying to write the rule book as we go.
Exactly, in real time.
And it brings up some really big questions, doesn't it? Like, what's the actual value of all the conversations, the posts, the information we all collectively create online? Who owns that value?
Right.
If something you posted contributes, even in a tiny way, to training an AI model that becomes this multi-billion-dollar product, should you, or maybe the platform where you posted it, have some say in that?
Exactly. It forces us, all of us, to think about the value and ownership of user-generated content in this digital age. Are platforms just neutral pipes for information?
Or are they custodians?
Or are they custodians of something that AI companies now see as, raw material worth a fortune?
And the outcome of these legal battles, it's going to influence how AI models develop in the future, surely.
Oh, definitely. If certain valuable data sets get locked behind expensive licenses or tangled up in legal restrictions, how might that impact the kind of information AI models learn from?
Yeah, could it affect diversity?
Yeah.
Or depth? Or even introduce new biases?
It absolutely could. And that could directly affect the AI tools and the information that you interact with every single day. It has real implications for the future of AI and maybe the digital commons itself.
Okay, so just to kind of bring it all together then, Reddit is suing Anthropic. They alleged this unauthorized, large-scale scraping of the really valuable user-generated content, specifically for AI training.
Mm-hmm.
And this is happening while Reddit is also pursuing its own licensing deals for that very same data, like the one with Google.
Right. And it's happening against this backdrop of Anthropic facing similar lawsuits before and a much broader legal trend where content creators everywhere are challenging AI companies over how they use data.
That pretty much covers the key points from that Business Today piece.
Yeah, I think so.
And it really leaves us and you with a critical question to think about, doesn't it? As these AI systems become more and more woven into our lives, built on this foundation of our collective online contributions, well, who ultimately benefits from the immense value being generated by all this human-created data?
It's the core question.
Does the future of AI training mean platforms like Reddit are justified in gating access to make sure they capture that value? Or should AI companies have maybe broader access to publicly available information? What does something like fair use even mean when you're talking about training models that ingest like trillions of words?
Yeah. What does fair use look like now?
Definitely something to mull over the next time you find yourself scrolling through a forum or maybe even chatting with an AI.
Wow.